I have to check. But any recording of it is protected, might be protected as owned by the people who actually performed it.
Ah,
Well, hello, world.
Howdy.
Welcome to our discussion on the copyrights to the Nutcracker Suite and other Christmas music.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what we're doing. It's been a
All right.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The Nutcracker Suite is in the public domain. So if you record yourself performing it, then that you're legally protected. But if you try to use someone else's recording, and that recording is modern enough, then you need their permission to use it.
okay,
Like
so
Trans
perfect. We
Siberian
just start.
Orchestra, but yes.
So if
Yeah.
we sing it, the Nutcracker music, it's totally fine.
Yes. Yes,
If
actually.
we do the Nutcracker Suite tonight.
If we do the Nutcracker Suite, then that is legally protected.
Oh goodness. Welcome to Star Trek Lexington Last of the Line. It's been a month. How y'all doing?
Staying
Eh.
hydrated.
You're a fish, of course you're hydrated.
I need water to survive, man.
You really do. Tonight I'm the one with the headache, so it's gonna be fun.
You're not the one with the headache.
Okay, Tim.
I also have a headache.
We both have headaches. That's okay.
We both have headaches.
Actually, it's not.
Now I feel left out.
I'm sharing the love.
Yes, yes, you are. Just hit your head on something, man.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Give yourself. See if you can lose an hour.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just take a real hard hit in the mosh pit and see if you can lose it out.
Oh, sweet. You see, I live on the second story. If I just angle it just.
I can highly recommend not falling from heights.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll take your advice.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that's why I have scoliosis.
Oh gosh.
Well, a lot of people say I have a pretty thick skull, where I'm very dense. So.
Well,
You
for
know,
me,
I
it
think I'll
wasn't
be
the
fine.
skull; it was the spine. So that depends on how you land. So, anywho, that's not what we
Hey,
talk about.
by the way, I don't. I tried to look up how to spend the PowerPoints properly, and the document that I got from Discord was corrupted, so I couldn't read it.
Okay.
So I have like 9 PowerPoints, and I don't know how to upgrade my character.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
PowerPoints?
Yeah, well, you know how we get XP, sort of. We get them as PowerPoints, but we get XP at the end of every session.
Mhm.
I always forget to spend them.
Yes.
And so every great once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, I should spend some of these. And when I do that, I have like 10 to spend.
For this game? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I'm close to 100 now. I just kind of like collecting them.
You haven't spent any?
No?
We haven't had 100 sessions.
Let me check. I'll pull up my drive with a sheet on it.
Oh man.
Sometimes you give us like a bundle of points, not just like individual.
Generally it's 1 per session unless we have combat or something really special happens.
Let's see.
So yeah, according to my math, we should have had a total of 39 ever, like all together, or at
Yeah,
least that's what I've earned.
How many do I have?
And I've
1,
only spent
2,
I've
3,
spent 30 of
4,
them.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Why are
19,
you
20,
counting?
21,
Do
22,
you have it marked as tallies on your
30,
sheet or something?
31,
What do you?
32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. I just have this thing called skill point pool, and every single time we get one, I just put +1 next to the previous, or +2 or +3 next to it. So I just have this straight line across the
Well,
entire thing
I
that's
actually
just a
have
bunch of 1s and 2s and 3s.
I actually have that too, but I have the equal sign at the beginning of it, so that it just shows me the total in the field. But if I click on the field, I can see the full math of every point that I've gotten and spent.
Well, if I just copy and paste this onto like a Google calculator.
Well,
Welcome
isn't
to
it,
Star Trek role-playing game where the points don't matter.
well, it's all math anyway. So
The
like
game is math. Ugh.
so
Except for diplomacy.
yeah, I mean you're it's on your sheet, and your sheet is a spreadsheet. You can just go in.
Oh no, I just have a Google Doc. I put everything on.
A separate one?
Well, it's my note section, and I just was like, oh, I'll just put my point here. And then continue.
Oh.
So he doesn't have it.
So yeah, if you put it on your sheet, then you can put equals and then all of those numbers, and it'll just show you the result.
Let's see.
I put it in the box under Unk Thresh.
I just kind of put it somewhere now. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. Equals.
And then I track my rolled skills over here and under the postings. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skills that I could be spending points on.
Oh, error. That's good. Well, I broke that little tab, so I'm just gonna stop touching it now.
That's fascinating.
This is why I just stick to spreadsheet. I just stick to Drive.
I did just recently tell that I did just recently post a TikTok in which I explained the story about Ozfest, and I shared it on Facebook. So I'm slightly surprised you didn't see it.
Oh man, I've been. When would that have been?
A few days ago.
I've been down in Texas, so I've been doing so many things with the family that I'm. They may or may not be the reason I have a headache. I don't know. Cannot confirm or deny.
Don't worry. There's a very small chance they're watching this.
Oh no, I don't even care about that. I would tell it to their face. I literally tell people when I come down here that I'm going down to Texas to take care of my elderly parents, and every day that becomes a little more true. Okay, we've been stalling for the appearance of a certain Mr. Skips, Captain Skip, and his arrival does not appear forthcoming, unfortunately.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe he's just running late, like he does all the time.
Yeah, that is very true. All right, so I'll let you two. Like, we can't really vote because there's two of you, but would you rather?
I don't have
What?
hands, so I technically don't have hands. So if it is a vote by hands, then I mean you can just leave it to Tim.
It would be verbal.
Verbal, yes, verbal vote. Want to continue the main storyline, or have me just pull the Christmas special out of my ass? I am open to either.
I kind of want to see where the main storyline is going.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know if we can with the. All right, so we've well, for the foreseeable future, at least, we don't have Eric. We don't know if Matt's coming tonight. Do we know what's going on with Chris? Is he not
Oh,
coming
he
tonight?
said basically the rest of the month he's out. He's got family stuff.
Mm.
And now with me, I don't know about you guys next week. I should be available. Probably not the 28th, definitely not the 4th. So we'll be muddling through on how much story we can get done for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on A days when you're not available, I probably could do Paleomythic if people still want to continue doing that.
House of Giant.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the Discord, we're not live streaming. So, it was the stuff that we were doing before was technically playtesting it. And we're not doing, I don't need that anymore. And so I was planning on just not continuing to do that. But we then decided not to live stream the in person game that we're doing on Saturdays. And because we're not live streaming that, I'm open to the idea of live streaming, doing kind of with an online group, one that would be live streamed. And so it could continue to be kind of a when Thursdays aren't happening, or a separate thing at some point if there's enough interest in that. But either way, it is available as a thing if we decide to do that on days when if we need something to occupy time.
Yeah, probably for me, it's just time wise, like whatever everyone sets up, and I'll try to work around it.
I've been writing up the whole GM's guide for it, and I'm going to be making that available when I'm done writing it, so people can play it at themselves, run the campaign if they like. So, but anyway, but you were saying the 4th you were not going to be available,
Yes, the 4th I'll be in
but
Phoenix again.
and you don't know about the other any of the other
I mean, the
times.
21st next week I should be available. The 28th, my uncle's gonna be in town, so it's very likely that we'll be doing stuff with him.
Yeah, I mean I should be available both those dates, so I shouldn't have a problem with the 21st, and then we can just let us know what's going on with the 28th, and we can make plans accordingly.
We are just stalling hard right now.
Well, I mean I am still dealing with the migraines, and so I'm not super fast about uh, getting going. But I mean, like I'm up to try. Um, and and we were discussing, what was going to happen the next couple weeks. So I was just kind of filling that in a little bit.
Right.
But if you could post an updated document, or something that's not in docx format, like maybe a PDF or just like a picture of a table or something
Right.
in the Discord, so that skill advancement, so it's easier to look at and make adjustments on the fly. That'd be great.
Yes. Advancement system.docx. Let me see if. Well, I opened it, so.
Yeah, well, when I opened it, it opened, but then all the text was on top of itself, each other. So it was a one-page document with all of the text occupying the same space, so I couldn't read it. And I don't know if I don't know why it did that when I opened it, but
Didn't with me, so I'm going to save it as a PDF and post it again.
cool.
Yeah, because what's about to happen, I'd really like to have our captain involved.
Yeah, that makes sense.
does, because there's actually, so we're about to, so let me just recap where we were. So last session we were on our way to Gehenna to try to find some denzite, um, and we had just been discussing, because we found out and decrypted the information that Vel's team got from the Ardestians, that there's this basically black site sort of thing where they're trying to mind control people, and we got a partial list of people being mind controlled. It's partially corrupted, so we don't have a lot of definites to it, but we also found out that apparently the Empress is unaware that it's happening. So it became a big old thing of what are we going to do with that? And we were in the middle of that discussion when we had to stop because Tim was rendered incapacitated. He failed his Constitution save for his headache. So I don't remember. It's been a month. I don't remember where you were in that conversation when you left off.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talked about. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna, it's definitely a politics spot that we left it on.
Yeah, I think because I had been saying that we didn't want to do. We didn't want to. We were debating because we determined that we could either tell the people at the conference that we've organized, or we could tell the Empress about the black site. But we couldn't. We there wasn't.
Oh yeah, it was like a bargaining chip.
Yeah, there wasn't a good reason to. There wasn't a good way to tell both, as we had to decide who we were going to play that chip with. Um, and if I recall correctly, I thought that we would get more bang for our buck holding it until we get to the conference.
I believe that's what you said.
Yeah.
But other people I think disagreed. I think there were some people who wanted to tell the Empress, and I don't think we came to a decision about
It was
that.
just the two of you last session.
Yeah,
so.
I think I was like,
Oh,
wait,
right.
why don't we tell the Empress? And then you explained the reason. I was like, oh, I agree. And then I think we ended the
Okay.
session.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we obviously didn't have we haven't heard Matt's input or Chris's.
What do you think, Captain Crisil? I think it's a great idea. Let's do it. Perfect. Okay, we got a majority vote.
Yeah, I think there was a point in there where Tripper was like, "Tim, what do you think?" Or it was like, "We don't know what Crystal would say about this." And I was like, "I think Crystal will say whatever I tell him to say."
I don't remember if you said that, but that does sound like something you would say, so I'll go with it.
So do we kind of make the joke about him having a hairball to leave? Can we like increase the canon of that and just say that can I make like a sock puppet to like stare every time he's out and just say he's like it's like canonically like us just having a sock puppet?
Well, it'd work better if you were on camera, so we'll just have to pretend then.
I'm just so like no like in game. I was like, can Fish Soon canonically make a sock puppet as like a replacement for Crystal when he like leaves to like have a hairball?
That doesn't sound like something you need to roll for, so sure. Except you'll be down a sock.
I know, but I
Oh,
need
you
to
can
roll to
replicate a new
see if
one.
it starts to gain sentience.
Oh Lord above.
I'm kind of. Can I make one that's like a rudimentary AI, like with his? Because I did one with Fish Soon. Yeah, no, I did one. I made a little Sorab. Can I finally make a little Crystal using his hair? But this one's like actually like a sock puppet exterior.
Sackboy.
Yes.
So I'm gonna remember how to type in the roll.
All right.
RSA's.
Okay, let me look at something. So, where we left off, we were presently en route to Gehenna, like going through enemy space. Let's see. But we had the thing where they cannot detect us. All right. So that was going to be about 20-something light days. Man, I wish we'd have written down how long it was going to take. Because we had it all The only date I have for sure is that the meeting is set for March 10th.
We worked it out that we would get to Gehenna, get the stuff, get to a Terra 2 the Terra 2 station, drop the Denzite off, and then get to the conference. And if all went well, we would have like a 3 or 4 day buffer.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. And so and we had and so we had presented it to the Forens as giving them time to kind of organize and get there, and to the Terrans as giving them time to organize and get there. But we were not going straight there. We didn't tell them that we weren't going straight there.
I think it was the Lestrans, but yes.
Yeah, Lestrans. We
The
not contacted the Forens yet.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever. So I don't remember. However, that the spacing works out for that, but it was something like we would, if it all goes well, we'd end up arriving like 4 days early.
Okay, I know what can happen right now. All right, this will advance the plot, but it's not as critical as some other things. But it's something you were handling already.
5 days of problem.
What?
Okay. So are you just introducing 5 days of problem?
No, this is something I wanted to happen, but I think I found a way to make it interesting. So.
Okay.
All right. So remember, we were waiting for calls back from both the Farans and the Terrans on agreeing on a location for the meeting, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was part of the issue, was that we didn't have. Yeah, because we had told the Lestrans, we had given the Lestrans, said, here's the two options that we know of. And I had told them basically that the location that we were talking about wanting to go to seemed the best, but it would require more effort on their part because they would have to get the Farans to cease fire. And the other one, the Lestrans were concerned about, it was easier for us to arrange, but it would also mean the Lestrans would have to trust the Terrans enough to go deeper into their territory.
Yes.
And so basically, we left it up to the Lestrans to determine which of those they could pull off, which of those they could convince the council to go for. And I told the Terrans about that choice that we had given the Lestrans and that we were waiting to hear back. And they were working on whether or not they were going to be able to pull people together to do that as well, or something. They were figuring out the details on their end, and we were going to hear back about whether or not this meeting was even going to happen, and if so, where.
Okay. All right, so I am going to bring us over to the map just so we can be referencing some things.
Guess I should probably open that tab.
Yes. All right, so let me bring our tab over for Streamlabs to the map, and on the map, zoom us out and see what we're talking about. So let's refresh ourselves on some things.
Good old space ping pong or pinball.
Bing, bing, bing.
So if I recall correctly, the two places that were proposed were halfway between Blevins and Berlin. And
yeah, so
someplace like, I feel like it was like on the Terran side of the line.
Yeah, it was I think it was Starbase Felix.
For the meeting place or no?
Yeah, this place to host the meeting.
I thought it was gonna be on the Lexington itself, like on the line.
Well, yeah. So it was either this location here. If we did the center point, the Lexington was going to house the actual meeting. So they weren't going to hold it on a planet. They were going to hold it on the Lexington. But one of the options, but concerns about whether or not that could be addressed peacefully, were being countered by going to one of these star bases. I think it might have been Felix.
Or Elizabeth, one of the two.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
I feel like it was farther down.
Yeah, might have been Elizabeth. I don't think we had pitched Tavar.
No.
So it wasn't like anywhere near the Archer Nebula, or was that like a bad zone?
Well, it was definitely a place. Like this is the one that would require it to be on the Lexington, and these other ones, it could be on the Lexington, but we'd be docked somewhere if it was. But it was definitely a place, and I feel like it was a starbase. I guess it could have been a planet, but I thought it was a starbase.
I don't know. I just probably remembering it wrong. It's been so long, but I thought it was somewhere like within the Archer Nebula. Unless that was like a death zone.
In the nebula.
I don't think it was in the nebula.
Okay. All right. I'm coming off slightly half-cocked on this, and I still have a bit of a headache, so we're going to see how this goes. But, so, with that as a reference, we're about halfway to Gehenna. So let's say that at this point, we're about right here. And
how much free time do we have?
I mean, this is like a multi-week trip. The whole thing's about 30 light years, give or take. You're going at warp 8.5, if I recall correctly. And
yeah, we were going as fast as we could go without having to do checks.
So that's 3 light years a day. So that's basically takes 10 days from where we're going. So let's say on about day 5. So that would make this presently January 8th.
Okay, time to make my horror movie creation.
Wait, what was this?
The horror movie. I'm gonna make the Crisil sock puppet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was
like that episode of Gravity Falls.
Oh no, yeah, it's like that, but this is like a much more dark twist. You see, do you want me?
I don't know. What got weird?
Okay.
No,
Sure.
it's very simple. It's very simple. It's gonna be, a clone of Crisil's sort of consciousness, but it's gonna be like much more comically kind of not narcissistic. Like it's very sure that it is in charge. It's like
Oh, Lord.
yeah. So it's like I'm gonna call it Mr. Crisil.
Well, considering we sure, let's fill some time with something that doesn't involve needing other people here. Okay, how is this gonna happen?
It's very simple. I'm gonna start. It's like a chef going up to like a recipe board. It's like looking at the audience. Like we're gonna start with very simple ingredients that everyone has. First off, pulls out a severed arm. Like, step 2, a piece of cultured DNA from Crisil, which I'm going to turn into gray matter, just like I did with Lil Sorab. Infuse it with some machinery in order to give it a pseudo consciousness, just like I did with Sorab. And then, after I create a functioning little system of communication and adjust it just right, I'm going to put a sock over it. And then I'm probably going to install some robotic eyes that are googly eyes.
Just because.
And give it a working digestive system.
Oh my god.
So it can eat popcorn.
Okay.
My character's sanity might slowly be deteriorating.
You think? And so is mine.
He's been through the wormhole too long.
Yeah, apparently this fusion of space has an effect on mad scientists. Okay.
He's been isolated from his own nepotism.
Oh, nepotism?
Yeah,
That's not the
nepotism.
word.
Well, I mean, his family and all of his riches and
Oh, you're
influence.
right.
So he's like, people don't know that I'm important here.
Oh, you make sure to let them know. That's for.
Yeah. He has a
Okay.
sensitive side.
So this is obviously going to involve biotechnology. That's a given, considering you're giving it a digestive system. Um, let's see here. Intelligence, biotechnology. Um, Now, how are you giving this thing his consciousness?
Well, basically, I'm copying the rough blueprint that I did with Little Sorab, which is basically a piece of cloned gray matter from Crisil, which I got from his DNA, which probably wouldn't be hard since he's Cation and probably sheds. Uh, and I'm use that to culture DNA, and then I'm installing that in a sort of like AI like machine. Like it's not really AI per se. It's mainly using the actual like brain matter as the processing unit, but the data and some parts of it are like combined with the actual machinery. Like the other, so basically, I'm trying to do the same role I've done before. I just been so long since I made Little Sorab that I forgot the gobbledygook I decided to call it, but that's roughly what it is.
But how are you getting his consciousness?
Hmm? Oh no, I'm just well, to be fair, it wasn't meant to be conscious. It's mainly just a program that like Little Sorab, it's a program that I'm running through an actual like living piece of gray matter, and I'm just sort of letting it take the wheel from there.
Okay, well, how are you programming it to be like Crisil?
Oh, well, I'm basically just saying you're Mr. Crisil. You're in charge of everyone. But you particularly don't like being told what to do by other people named Crisil.
Oh, good lord.
So
What?
I'm basically just, and then I have a little stand so I can put it in Crisil's chair. So when he shows up, he's gonna have to deal with Mr. Crisil.
I don't even know what to say. Um,
It's literally at this point, it's basically just Fish soon getting bored and deciding to antagonize Crystal, like usual.
okay. Um, hmm. So, considering you're basically having to program an AI as well, this is going to be three-way roll between intelligence, biotechnology, and computer operation.
Yes.
Would that be computer operation or computer tech?
Well,
Programming.
Well, it's the coding more so, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're, I feel like coding might fall under tech, but I don't.
Well, I think
yeah,
operating.
that does make sense. Thank you
No.
for catching my headache ness. Yeah, because your operation is using it, technology is
But
making
yeah,
it. So
the
yes,
question is, do you consider coding to be using the computer, or is tech specifically for the material?
let's go with tech because he's still having to put some computerization in there that goes beyond pure biotechnology.
You just don't want Mr. Crystal around.
Apparently he doesn't.
Yeah,
I can
So that's an
feel it.
80, a 99, and a 15.
Okay, so 80 plus. Wait, 80? Oh, yeah, intelligence 99 plus 15. Divided by 3. 65. It's alive!
Well, Mr. Crystal lives.
It's alive! Ah, you're my second child, and you will be far worse than the first.
Lord.
Your family tree is more of a family rock slide, but nah, I still appreciate you, Mr. Crystal.
Oh.
I hate you! Ah, I know.
What have we done?
It's perfect. I just need to figure out where to. Let's see. I need. Okay. What do I have in my gear pocket? Twinkie, no. Oh, there we go. Little Sorab. There we go. And Keith.
Little Soreb and Keith.
Yeah, Keith is what I decided to call the other, the yellow guy, the alien.
Oh.
We didn't have a name, and I'm like, I'm just gonna call you Keith.
So are you going to wind up brain wrenching the far and the blue we have on board, or the red, and put its consciousness inside of of Mr. Crystal?
Nah, he's good. Well, I mean, if I need to, I'll just put it into Sorab. They already got another one person in there.
Oh,
little
Lord.
little Sorab could just, an extra in there, work things out. Mr. Crystal is definitely the favored child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I designed him specifically just to be a nuisance.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Little Sorab was helpful. This one's he's not meant to be useful for anything except for he's basically, I just set him up somewhere and it's like, hey, what are you doing down this hallway? Can you get me some snacks? I'm hungry. And it's like, oh, not him.
So
He
basically,
opened like,
shit posting biotechnology.
yeah, basically he's just. I can just imagine like I put him in front of like a laptop. He just starts like smacking his face on like the pad. It was like trying to spell like.
Wait, he can move?
Well, yeah, no. He's a full-on arm. Like it's a full-on arm underneath a
Oh.
sock puppet, and so it has like full like maneuverability. So it can like turn and like talk and move its like hand, mouth, and eat. But it can't like move on. Well, I guess it could like drag itself around.
Yeah, I'm about to
and,
say
like,
this is
open
getting
doors.
to horror levels of stuff here.
Oh yeah, no, that's what's intended. That's highly what's intended.
God.
I'll pull off my sock or my skin won't be underneath. I don't know.
I'm now imagining. So this was a real arm under it, right?
Well, okay, a good way to okay, actually, it's what would be an arm if it wasn't for the fact that a sock is taking place of the skin for the arm.
Oh,
It is a true combination between sock puppet and marionette arm.
This should have been for the Halloween episode.
It's like, oh, I could totally see it. Just breaking. I also didn't get a lot of sleep, so this might be why I'm losing.
Oh,
But it's
yes.
like, I can just totally imagine I make Mr. Crystal. He just turns to like the side, and it's like, it was made for the Halloween episode, but we had to do that session, so now I'm here. And it's like, what are you talking to? The fourth wall. It's like, huh?
The fourth wall. God. Okay.
It's to get back to your regular scheduled programming.
Oh man.
He looks up.
Okay.
No one understands what he's talking about.
I will tell you that absolutely did not help my headache. Oh,
Made you
goodness.
laugh? Or
Yes.
lose your sanity? Either way, it's similar.
All right. Give me 1 second. I need to clear my head before we get on, because I'm just like. Right.
I will stop doing that voice.
1 second.
That's basically my contribution for today's session. I've added a new crewmate.
Alrighty. Wearing headphones isn't helping my headache either. Okay. Now, let's get to the thing that's about to happen. Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you ready, Mr. Puppet Master?
Yes.
Okay, so we're about halfway there, and so right now, it's Sorab's on bridge watch. He's he's acting captain at the moment because anyone above him is either indisposed or asleep. Gonna get a call. This one is coming in from the Cochranes, the Terrans.
Okay.
I did put him on the chair, so he would say that.
No, he's not on the chair. Actual Sorab is on the chair. Thank you.
Oh, well, that definitely. It's like, eh, eh, eh. He's just crawling up the arm
Oh
of the
God.
chair. What was that?
Okay.
What was it?
So you answer the call, Tim.
Yeah.
So it's gonna blink on, and then you're going to see the five senior ministers, with the president in the middle, and of course his sister standing to his left.
Yeah.
President's gonna start talking and gonna go, "What the hell is that on the arm of your chair?"
I don't know.
I'm the captain of the ship, Sir Crisil.
I'm gonna actually transfer this call to the conference room.
That's probably just as well. All right.
All right. So I
So he's
transferred to
just
the
gonna be in
conference
the
room.
back like a tear rolling down his face. My boy.
All right. So you're gonna go to the conference room, put it up on the
Yes.
screen, see the six of them. Before you or they can say anything, you're going to get a page from the bridge saying, uh, "Commander, we're getting another call. Uh, it's from the Lestrans."
Hmm. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna tell the Terrans. The Lesterns are calling in. Actually, let me put you on hold for a moment and see if I can maybe do a conference call or something.
Press is gonna go. Okay, well that would be interesting. Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna put them on hold and answer the Lesterns call.
And then you're gonna see it's good old Cladu again, and like 12 other guys. They're sitting. He's
Yeah.
sitting at a giant panel with all the ministers, all of the lords.
I'm gonna say, what timing? You actually called immediately after Tara. I have Tara on the other line.
Cladu is gonna say, "Well, of all the timing, that's fascinating."
Yeah.
Hmm. What do you propose?
Well, unless there's anything that you need to speak to me about more privately, I could make a conference call so we can all kind of hear each other.
That would probably get things done a lot faster instead of us using you as a middleman on this. So sure, if they have no objections, it'll be nice to see. I guess for our longtime enemies, face to face, so to speak, this will be an exciting adventure for us all, I'm sure.
Hmm. All right. Well, I've already verified with them, so let me just go ahead and set that up. So I'll go ahead and kind of conference call that.
Okay. So suddenly there's 18 people on your screen.
Yeah, but some here and some there.
Yeah, it's just split screen. There's
Yeah.
going to be an incredibly awkward silence
Yeah.
unless you say
Uh,
something.
yeah, I'm gonna just start introducing. This is Lord Terra. This is Lord Cladu, and I presume the council. Uh,
Yes,
and
you presume
this is
correctly, sir.
yep, and this is President Blevins and the Terran Council.
All right. So on the Lestern side, there's a among the 12 of them, there's varying reactions. Some look extremely uncomfortable. Some look extremely angry. Some are kind of like you can't really read. Cledoux is sitting up there just looking his. Basically, every time you've seen him or anything you've seen of him, he just looks very kind of aloof but professional, like just impossible to read.
Mm.
Then on the Terran side, President Blevins is slightly wide-eyed, like you can tell he's a little bit taken aback, kind of in shock of this. Of course, his sister next to him, completely stoic, like nothing bothers her. Of course, Nikola Tesla, she's at the end, not paying attention, like fiddling with something. Uh, also, the uh, Minister of Intelligence, also completely stone-faced. The Secretary of War, you can see him looking very uncomfortable. Like
Right.
you can, like he's like you see a vein popping in his head. And then the Secretary of the Interior, Langley, she's at the end, just looking also kind of shocked, like what is happening here.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to do the introductions, like I said, and then I'm going to say, I understand this is the first direct communication between your worlds, and so if you don't mind, I'm going to just kind of address business right away, and then let conversation arise from there. So, President Blevins, I received your call first. So, what was the topic of that call?
Well, as I'm sure you can guess, we have debated, discussed with between ourselves, between uh, the military, people involved in security, because of course I'm sure you can understand that our first goal in anything is making sure that we are safe in this. And he's going to kind of, when he says that, you're going to see the Secretary of War is going to fidget even more in his seat, like he's really not happy. President's going to continue saying, and after lengthy discussions, we have already entirely ruled out any notion of meeting in the space between Blevins and Berlin as being far too rife for security risks.
Okay. Hold that thought. I'm going to turn to Lord Cledoux. And what message did the council have? Did the Lexington Council have?
Clue is going to say, well, it appears we're starting on a good note because we are in complete agreement that that would be far too hazardous for us to be that close to a very active war zone, especially since not 100% sure what our foreign allies would do if we put such a tantalizing target on their doorstep.
Okay. Well, as you both know, this was a location that we had proposed based on our limited knowledge of the terrain here, and so I presume that you each have other locations you'd like to propose.
We're gonna look at each other, just looking across. Say, Captain Blevins is going to say, "Yes, yes, we do." Now, the first place that we, of course, will be most comfortable for our own security is we propose that we would hold the meeting at Starbase Elizabeth.
Okay.
Cledoux is going to say, and where exactly is that located again?
Um,
Captain will say, "Do you have some way of bringing up a star chart for us to both look at there,
sure.
sir?"
Actually, you know what? Here, let me do this. And I'm going to I'm going to send you both a copy of the star chart as we've gathered from our intelligence so far, and if you could each just mark the locations that you've proposed, and then we could see if how close any of them are to each other.
Okay.
So I'm going to send them both kind of our version of the star chart, or which has been heavily informed by Terra, obviously.
Mhm.
Um,
All right. So you're going to see that, and what's going to show up for the Terran side is, of course, at Starbase Elizabeth. So it's going to show up right there.
mhm.
And now, what's going to show up for the Lestrans is going to be in orbit around Verona, is their proposition.
Okay.
Now, Cladu is going to start. So when Starbase Elizabeth gets proposed, there's going to be a row, like a bunch of ruckus, come up amongst all the members of the Lestrin Council. And did we just lose Fish?
Uh,
Absolutely.
S, yeah, so I see he's still there. He's just not showing an image anymore.
You're going to hear them shouting and saying, "Oh, I knew this was going to be a trap. That why would we meet somewhere so far?" And just obviously they're not having it. Cladu's going to finally get them to shut up and say, um, as I'm sure you can tell, I don't believe that our side is going to be open to that proposition. I can't really blame my associates here. That is awfully far into what, if I may be blunt enough to say, enemy territory, considering the continued hostilities between our people. So I can't say that we'd be willing to have literally the most important people of our entire society basically offering ourselves up on a silver platter. I hope you can understand.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, I assume I'm going to ask Blevins. Do you have similar feelings about their proposal of Verona?
He's going to say, "Give us one moment to discuss this," and it's
Mm-hmm.
going to go to a "please stand by" screen, basically.
Yeah.
And Cladu is going to say in the meantime, "So, how's your day been?"
Tip about 5 minutes ago, pretty quiet.
That's good. That's good. As you can see, things over here are a little bit exciting. So,
Yeah. We have been busy trying to collect information that we hope might, if we can find anything that would help smooth things over. We've been trying to look into that, and so we've been rather busy researching because, as you know, as I've informed you, we're recent arrivals to this galaxy, and so we're doing a lot of catch up at the moment.
oh, I can imagine if we were in your neighborhood, I imagine we wouldn't be in much of a better situation. So, anyhow, but at that point, the Terrans are going to come back and say, "All right, so we are, as you could probably guess, there's a bit of a this is normal around here. There's a little dissent on what we should and shouldn't do." At that moment, the Secretary of War, Pat Brad's going to go, "They don't want to walk into a trap, and damn, we don't want to either. You think we're stupid enough to go onto their damn yellow side of the line?"
So I would remind both parties the that the Lexington is available as a meeting place that can be positioned anywhere along the border that you both agree upon.
All right. There'll be more whispering among themselves. And they'll say, Claudia will say, All right, Commander. If you had to propose a spot along the line, what would you say?
Well, it looks like you're both kind of floating around this area nearest the Archer Nebula. I am aware that the Archer Nebula interferes with communications, and so we would not want to be far enough down this line that the Archer Nebula is between the ship and Terra 2. So I would propose. It sounds like if we go closer to here, um, obviously it's fairly close to Verona. Uh, it's a bit farther from Starbase Elizabeth, but it is an area that I'm aware they can get ships to in time for the meeting to feel comfortable that they have a safety a safe contingent on hand, that Terra can have that. And it's close enough to Verona that I believe that if you feel safe going to Verona, uh, you would be able to muster enough security to feel safe there as well.
All right.
If you wish, the Terran ships can be asked to remain in Terran space, and the Lestrin ships can be asked to remain in Lestrin space, and simply have a delegation travel to the Lexington, sitting on the border.
All right. Both sides are gonna start whispering, and President Levin's gonna say, "Give us another minute,"
Mm-hmm.
and Claude will go, "Yeah, let's. We're gonna have a discussion over here as well. So I hate to leave you hanging from both of us, but it's kind of an important discussion. So we'll be right back."
Of course.
So that's gonna go on for a good 10 minutes on both sides, and they're gonna come back within about a few seconds of each other because plot timing. Um,
Right.
the all right, so Cochranes will go first. President Blevins will say, "All right, we can agree to that location, but we are going to have a few stipulations. But first, I'll allow our yellow counterparts to continue to give their input first."
I'll turn to Lord Cladu.
Claude will say, "We also agree that that would be a adequate location, and we also agree that there will need to be some stipulations in place." So he suggested it first, so I will let President Blevins give his stipulations before we go.
Okay.
Claude,
I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask our computer to record these in text so that we can ensure that both, and I can send the document to both of you so that you know that whatever terms are agreed upon are in writing. That both of you have a copy.
both sides
So I'm
will
going to ask the computer
say that's a good idea.
dictate.
All right.
So I'll ask the computer to dictate from here out.
All right. So President Blevins is going to say, "Now, considering that that location is substantially closer to any inhabited area or any base of the Lestrins than we have, looking at Verona there, we are going to insist on having a sizable contingent of our ships available and present. And by sizable, we mean a minimum of 10. Cladu will, at the moment, mention of 10, some of the 12 on the council on the other side of the Lestrins they're gonna react. Uh, Cladu will whisper to a few of them and say, "Well, that is quite a sizable force you'd be bringing there. I can't say that our side is entirely comfortable with that many ships being that close to one of our bases at at what you call Verona. We would propose instead that both of our sides bring 5 ships, but we can also provide verification for you that Verona will not have any military presence or other ships waiting in wait at all. Of course, with the Terrans, Bradley, Secretary of War, is going to go, and you really think we're going to take your word on that?
Verona is well within scanner range of the Lexington at that location.
We know that their side has cloaking technology. Don't you try that with us. We don't know how many ships they could have waiting in the wings. Which is why I say a minimum of 10 ships there in case a half dozen or 10 or a dozen or 20, however many, just decide to decloak out of nowhere and try to snatch the 5 of us.
Could we? This is like out of sort of out of character. So I'm just maybe the one talking. Could we like maybe push him down to like 6 or 7 with like also us saying that if they were to attack you first for whatever reason, we would be willing to like the Lexington would be able to act as a defensive unit. Like it's like in a much more appropriate words for a peace
Right.
meeting, but like like saying if they were for some reason to be attacked by the other side, that we would therefore help them and kind of in turn bolster their forces a bit in that instance. Contingency style.
We'd have to be very careful how we word that, but
That's why I'm just of the general idea.
yeah, I'll propose. It appears as though the location in question, Verona, is about 7.5 light years from where we're talking about meeting. Would both sides be willing to accept an agreement of a specific limit number of ships welcome within that bubble? So we say maybe 5 light years out, only 6 ships, say, from each side are allowed within that 5 light year bubble.
Murmuring on both sides.
I can't hear you right now, Tripper.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know if it's just me or
I can hear you.
Okay, so it's just me. Cool. Oh, there you are.
Oh, hi.
Hear you now.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Okay. So murmuring, whispering on both sides. Kuladu will say, we can agree to those terms. President Blevins will say, yes, we also can agree to that. Although, as much as I hate to admit, Bradley over here does raise a important point that we do know for a fact that ships on your side, while not your ships in particular, but blues or the foreigns, as you call them, they do possess cloaking technology. So there is no way that we can guarantee, even if you aren't aware of it, that there won't be foreign ships lying in wait to.
Hey, Tripper.
Yes.
Did we figure out how to spot foreign ships?
Not reliably. Basically, it has to be a line of sight thing, so it's kind of like a broad net, but
Because we were tracking that one. That ship that got destroyed, right?
in that case, you were. I'm trying to think. How were you tracking that? I believe you were tracking the warp signature of it.
Right.
I know I can track the psionics from very close proximity.
Yeah.
Well, that's
close
the
proximity. So.
Yeah,
Ardestians,
not from a distance.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah,
Ardestians are the ones that really do the psionic stuff, not the foreigners.
We don't. Well, remember how I was able to design it to scan the blues,
Right.
at least humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that probably isn't. Yeah, what we're looking for.
It's definitely not very long range. No. So, as he was saying, that's the unfortunate point of this entire thing is that we can't even you can't give us assurances that the Farans aren't going to try to pull something because um, that location, while it is agreeable, unfortunately, it is close enough to territory where the Farans are known to be that you also can't guarantee that they aren't going to get a wild hair, so to speak, and do something unexpected.
Well, okay. Consider this. If the concern is a third party, which obviously the main concern is the Farns because they're cloaking, but obviously we're fairly close to our Destian space as well. Um, one of the terms of the summit could be that if any third party, foreign or Ardestian, attempts to enact hostilities at the summit, that we will work together. That we are all going to guarantee the peace of the summit, even if that includes fighting off attackers from foreign or Ardestian space together.
One of the council members on the Lestern side is going to say, "So you would have us fire on our own allies?"
I would I would ask you to inform the foreigners that you are serious about this pursuit of peace, and that if they try to and remind them that if they try to interfere with that process, that they are actively creating hostilities and will have to face the consequences of that.
There's going to be a lot of heated discussion among the Lesterns at this point. Cladou's going to say, "Give us a minute," and it's going to
Of course.
go to black again. It's like Captain Blevins is going to say, "Oh, Commander, I hope you do appreciate our concerns on this. That we're not just making this up."
Of course.
As we've looked at there, as you said, yes, if we go any farther down, we get close to our Destian territory, and from what I understand, they are probably even less like trustworthy, even more likely to try something,
Mm.
even though they don't have cloaking technology, which that is important for our current discussion, because if I understand the concerns of Bradley here, it's that we can't detect foreign ships coming in, but we could detect the Ardestians.
Right. We
And
also haven't we also haven't cracked communications with the foreigners yet, and so we're relying heavily on the Lestrans to be the intermediaries to communicate with them at the moment.
from what I understand, you do know how to talk to the Ardestians.
Yes.
What if we move the meeting farther down to the other side of the nebula? We'd be a lot closer to the Ardestians, but as we said, they are a lot easier to track.
You're welcome to propose it.
Is that okay with you? She's going to look at her brother and he's going to say, "Well, I guess so. Thanks for the idea." So a little bit after that, uh, the Lester's going to come back and going to go, "Okay, okay." So as you can tell, it's a bit of a circus over here.
Of course. An idea was proposed that may help with this a little bit
Oh, thank
while,
God,
while you were
because that
deliberating.
this is this. I have to tell you, we did not have any consensus of this. Please enlighten me.
As we were discussing, the Terrans and I were talking while you were deliberating, and they did express a willingness to move further from foreign space down the line closer to our Destian space because obviously the Ardestians have not been demonstrated to have cloaking technology, and therefore it's easier to feel secure that they are not attacking if we're closer to their space than to foreign space. This would likely put the meeting a bit further from Verona, but if we keep the same uh, bubble, the peace, the non-fire zone, no fire zone, or no ship zone that we've discussed, limited ship zone that we've discussed. If we keep that same zone, you can you would have the same opportunity to stage ships outside of it as you would further up, closer to foreign space. Um, but they are willing to entertain a location that is further from foreign space to reduce the threat of foreign stealth.
Cladu will, again, whispering, whatever, go. We can work with that.
Okay.
So you're thinking hereabouts. He's gonna indicate on his copy of the thing.
Right. I think that's good. Because of, as I said, the concerns about the Archer Nebula interfering with communications. Terra, obviously, President Blevins, you're free to give your input.
He's gonna say, "Well, Captain Blevins here said it was a good idea. I have no objections to it. So, what about the rest of you?" He's gonna turn to the rest of the council. Bradley, I'm sure you've got something to say. He's gonna look side-eyed and go, "Well, if this little meeting is going to go forward, and we can't have it more in our territory for our own security, I guess there's not a better option than that. I've got nothing else." He's gonna mutter, saying, "Even though it's a stupid idea." President Blevins will say, "I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. All right. I believe that arrangement is satisfactory to us, Commander."
All right, so just to clarify, we have chosen a location, we've chosen a date, and we have agreed to um, a maximum of 6 ships within a 5 light year radius of the location, with the actual meeting happening on the Lexington. Is that correct? Are those the terms that everyone has agreed to?
Everyone will give an affirmative on that.
Okay. Um, I'll formalize that into writing and send that to both of you uh, within the next hour.
Okay.
Thank you both so much. I know that this is a very difficult situation for everyone involved, and I hope that we are all encouraged by the willingness that we have shown to work out the details.
Cladu is going to say, "Well, certainly can't say I expected to meet a lot of you face to face, so to speak, this early, but I'll say, at least as far as the Lestrans are concerned, we are willing to give this a shot and see what comes of it. Obviously, if we weren't willing, we wouldn't be wasting our time doing this. So, look forward to meeting you all." President Levs is going to say, I can mirror that sentiment, sir. Not what I expected. I can certainly say you're not what I expected you to be, but this might have a shot. We will see what happens. Cludu will say, "Indeed we will. Next time." Then he's going to close the comms. Okay. So now it's still the Terrans. And
Mm-hmm.
say, "Commander, we have a second spot of news for you.
Okay.
Looks like you're not going to need to go to Gehenna after all.
Oh.
We
Oh no.
we found Denzite, of all places, on Tevar."
Oh.
Now, there's one little wrinkle to it. They don't want us to have it. and we think you might need to kind of get involved in this.
Okay. Do you happen to know where on Tavar you found it?
It is located in what they call Sumera, and from what I understand, the crux of the issue is that it's located underneath their most sacred site, a gigantic tree. And guess why the tree is so gigantic?
Because it grows on that site.
Because it grows.
Denzite.
And apparently, removing it would kill the tree. They aren't happy about that, but yeah, to say that it's almost sparking a holy war is kind of putting it mildly. So you're probably going to want to get involved in this one.
Okay.
Time to go, but still go to Gehenna.
All right. We'll see what we can do. Thank you.
Good luck. He's going to close the channel.
All right. I'm going to call Dr. Fishstone.
Yes.
Could you come meet me in the bridge conference room, please?
I suppose. Yippee!
All right. So once Fish gets there, I'm going to. By the time he gets there, I want to have pulled up whatever information we have on that tree and on the denzite.
Okay.
And have it on the screen.
You don't really
we
have
like
much.
scanned. We scanned the planet, didn't we?
You did scan the planet. Okay. Now, when you scanned it, you didn't recognize this as denzite initially.
Right.
Just it didn't register that way. The tree, you didn't really scan it in any like detail except to see, oh, it's a gigantic tree. Fascinating.
Right.
We'll come back at some point after diplomatic relations and everything, or if they come to the Federation, figure out, hey, why is this tree so big? And by big, the tree is a mile tall.
Yeah.
It is a big tree.
Okay. So basically, when Fish gets there, I'm going to ask him, hey, so apparently there's a large deposit of denzite under this tree, and that is what has made the tree as large as it is. But that also tells me that somehow the tree is incorporating the denzite into itself. It's using the denzite somehow. And presumably that means that there's some denzite within the tree. Maybe some kind of organic denzite or something like that. Can you, when we talk to Tavar, we need to have some plans available, and I was wondering if you, with your expertise on bio stuff,
Yes, I do have some experience in astrobotany.
Can figure out a proposal on a way to extract denzite without damaging the tree, either from under it or from within the tree itself.
I could probably come up with a couple ideas.
Can we tap it like we do for sap or something? Just if you could work out something that we could propose to them as an alternative to just taking the denzite ore out from under the tree, I think that would really help smooth the conversation.
I do have a couple of ideas. There is the potential that we could just extract the denzite and try to replicate the signal to promote. Because the thing is, we couldn't, and this is out of here. What we couldn't do with the original is we couldn't replicate denzite. You couldn't make more of it per se, right?
Correct. You were able to replicate the structure, but not the radioactivity that goes with it.
Well, I never tried it technically, and I'm not saying I would necessarily pull out. I'm just saying, and if I'm trying to replicate not the actual radioactive structure, but the not but I like try to replicate the effects it would have on the tree. So instead of trying to replicate the energy, I just it's like making a different type of, like, you know how like they would have penicillin. It's like I'm just using a different sort of energy to provide the same result, the end result. So I'm seeing if I can, instead of having to, use denzite as a core energy, if I can just invent a sort of device that can send a pulse or generate like energy that is able to sustain the tree in a similar way.
Wait, what if? Okay, so that's an option. Like we should definitely be exploring that. But another option, another idea. Is it possible that instead of you extracting the densite and then using it, to incorporate the wormhole controls onto the tree itself, and therefore it doesn't use densite separately. It just kind of focuses through the tree.
I can totally. I'm absolutely loving your idea. You
Oh
honestly,
my.
after
Oh.
this is
No.
done, we should work together in the future because I've never heard of. I didn't even think about turning the tree into a giant space-time battery. I love it. I love it. Who needs to slingshot a planet? The planet is its own slingshot. Genius.
Okay. Okay.
We turn the
do we-
planet into a pinball that can go through time. I love it. We basically are turning. No, just hear me out. We're basically turning the tree into a flux capacitor.
Oh my god.
I love it.
So do we have anybody from that culture on our ship?
Yes, Kaino.
Now it's time.
Is
Don't
Kaino's
worry,
a
guys.
What's Kaino's deal? Is Kaino a scientist? Is Kaino
No, no,
a
he was
diplomat?
like let me find him.
Time to
Like
commit some
like his
religious
big thing was
sacrilege.
intelligence.
Hmm.
Like at one point he was kind of helping you like quote interrogate the thing living in Little Sorab.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so once Fish leaves to go crunch numbers and figure out a couple proposed plans for that, I want to talk to Kaino.
Okay. All right. So where are you
But
gonna bring him into the
but I
meeting
mean, if
room?
you
Or...
want to, yeah, but if you want to focus on, whatever roles Fish needs to be doing.
talking to him will help. Will be good for context. So
Okay.
it's probably better to have that conversation first. So.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just call him into the conference room, and the tree's gonna be pulled up. So I'm not gonna put that data away. And when he comes in, I'm basically I'm gonna explain to him like, all right, so we're currently on our way to Gehenna to try to, by stealth, essentially steal Densite from the Ardestians. As you know, Densite is the necessary component to getting the wormhole open so that we can save Tavar from falling into the star here and get Tavar and us and the humans back to our home galaxy. It appears as though Terra 2 has identified a source of Densite on Tavar, and it is under this tree.
When he sees that, his eyes are going to get very wide. He's going to say,
Now,
"Oh, good."
Now, obviously, neither we nor Terra 2 want to do anything that threatens that tree in any way. We understand that it has a great deal of cultural significance. We do not even pretend to understand the degree of significance it has.
I can't understand. This is the holiest site, and calling this a holy site is an insult to holy sites. Or...
To the tree, but yeah. So
Is this the scientist?
No, he's
No,
an
okay.
intelligence.
he's
officer.
intelligence. So we are obviously getting access to that densite would make it much safer and more likely that we can get home safely and that the planet of Tavar can survive. But we don't know the best way to approach this. And Are we have someone here who is an expert on who studies astrobotany and who studies all this stuff, who's looking into options if it is possible to access any of that densite without damaging the tree. I guess my question is for you is it even feasible as a discussion topic, even if we can even if we can propose a method that will not damage the tree? Is it even something that will be entertained?
By some people, no. By some to some people, even asking is tantamount to blasphemy. Honestly, I'm not one of those people, but unfortunately, a lot of those people are very powerful. Uh,
Is your what are they called? The elders or whatever, Tripper?
the
The
archons.
people, the archons. Is your archon one of those people?
I can't speak for her. Um,
Okay.
I know that based on her position, she has to be,
Mm.
because I mean she is the spiritual representative for the entire nation of Sumera, and that tree is the holiest of sites. I mean that tree, to give you a little background,
Uh,
that tree is considered where every iteration of the Archon is reincarnated, including her. So it's from what little I've understood and read about your culture. There's a religion called Christianity. Think of it as the birthplace of Jesus amped up to 1,000.
It's not my culture, but
Well, Federation culture, Earth culture, yes, yes, yes. I'm not sure which planet that was, but yes. So
right.
you're.
I'm aware of it. Yes.
Uh,
Um. Okay. So
I would honestly say there are people that would rather let the planet burn than let that site be defiled.
well, if I
that
do,
seems
I
like it would. It seems
disagree.
like that. It seems like that would defile the site. But okay.
Again, I'm. There's
Yeah.
different degrees of as with any culture, there's different levels of zealous zealousness to individuals. I'm fairly low on the scale, although I still, of course, have to and do. She is our archon, and I give her all the reverence that she is due. But I
Of
care
course.
more about her than the tree. And even say,
Now,
don't tell anyone I said that, because that could probably get me in a lot of trouble. So just pretend it never happened.
Was
of course
was
not.
Fish Soup
Now,
there to record it?
no, it was you had already left to go start working stuff
Ah,
out. So I'm going to tell him. Okay, so here's the here's here's the thing. Going to Gehenna is going to be very risky. We need Denzite to do this. Now, what we're working on two different proposals and maybe multiple sub proposals. I don't know methodologies to these proposals. One is to find a way to safely extract some amount of densite either from under the tree or from the tree itself. It appears as though the tree is using it, and therefore it must have some of it in within its own structure, um, but probably from beneath it in a way that does not damage the tree or prevent the tree from having access to densite. The other option that is being explored is rather than taking any densite, setting up the wormhole generator in close enough proximity that it can commune with the tree and kind of allow the tree to amplify the power of the device rather than removing anything. Um, do you think that either of those is going to be easier than the other to pitch?
Well, if the first one of those, and involving taking anything from around the tree, is impossible, the second is I didn't know if there's anything beyond impossible, but you've discovered it. That would be effectively like thinking building a factory at the holiest site on the entire planet, or at least in the entire country. That I I cannot see that even. Honestly,
But
the
it's
only way I can see the
But it's
first
like
of those
building a
working.
factory near it to protect it from everything on the outside.
You're not there, Fish.
I know, but I'm just out of character, you know?
The only way I could even see the first of those working is if you were able to do it surreptitiously, and I don't think there's any possible way to build a wormhole device surreptitiously next to the holiest site there is. Now, let me give a little more context. There is a kilometer. I don't want to call it an exclusion zone, but the land a kilometer in every direction around that is considered sacred ground, and that only times people are allowed there are for pilgrimages and festivals, just special
Tunneling.
things like that. There are
Right.
no structures. It is completely untouched virgin land, aside from the one path to and from.
Okay.
And the area where they set up even at the festival, they don't set up tents or anything. It's literally
so
just
any
people in the open.
So any proposal would have to be something that exists outside of that distance.
I mean, even yes, but even then, that's a very hard ask, putting it anywhere that close, even.
Okay.
I have a workaround for that. It works.
Well, thank you very much for that insight.
Well, you need to talk to the archons about this. I can only give so
Oh,
much, but if
oh.
this is such a you
Okay,
need to talk.
back.
Yeah, I want to have something to present to them, and so this information is going to help us figure out what type of something we can even begin with. So I feel like if we go to the archons with just, hey, we have this idea, but we don't have any proposals on how to make it happen or happen safely, that's just going to shut the conversation down immediately.
That makes sense. But I'm thinking.
Very easy solution to this. We don't
I
know.
know.
If there's
I just remembered something. I know what the material you're talking about. You're calling it Denzite. It just clicked for me. We call it Ursuline, and
Okay.
that is also an incredibly precious resource, and that's the only place on the planet that we have ever found it. And yes, it is inextricably linked to the tree. It's also considered sacred, and taking Ursuline from the site is punishable by death in Sumeria.
Okay.
So that's
in order to have anything to propose, it would have to be something that can exist at least a kilometer away from the tree and does not remove any Ursuline from the planet or the tree itself.
Yeah.
In order to even begin proposing it.
I mean, if you're going to do it by the book, that would seem to be the case. Honestly, this to me it feels like the only way this is going to happen is somebody's going to have to not know something. But that just might be me working in intelligence long enough that that's how I'm immediately going to look at the situation.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for your insight. Greatly appreciate it.
I would greatly, I would ask to be involved in that conversation with the archons if I could, because both for whatever insight I can give and the fact that this does, I mean, it does involve me to some degree. I hope I might be able to help as well.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I don't see why not.
Wonderful. All right.
So then I'm going to contact, after he leaves, I'm going to contact Fish. And I'm going to contact Blue.
Nope, I don't. Don't worry, I heard everything.
How did you hear everything?
Well, it's simple. And Mr. Crisil has a little communication device in him, so I can hear everything.
He's on the bridge.
Mr. Crisil? Yeah, he's with you. Oh,
no.
I thought he was
he's not.
No.
I'm in the conference room.
You turn around. Just in the corner.
People. Yeah, I'll let Fish know what's going on. The terms of that, and and I'll remind you that Calvo was already working on the wormhole tech at one point, and probably has some insight on what role the densite has in the device, and if this, would have some engineering information that might help you come up with this plan.
Hmm.
Well, what
I
Calvo is going to tell you, which is very basic, is the way that the densite, as has been designed, is used, is that it's fashioned into rods through which the energy for the wormhole is channeled. So it's not like it's the radioactivity from the densite is important in that it allows the energy to be focused properly. So it's not so much the densite itself as it is the way it's arranged to channel the energy for the wormhole. So
that's why
unless
I
the
have.
tree's magically arranged that way,
Well, I mean, it's a kilometer long rod. If it's drawing densite into itself, then that's probably along the xylem and phylum, or similar structures within the bark, the tubes that carry stuff up. That'd be a kilometer long tube.
Last time I checked, lightning likes to strike trees just like metal rods. So if it's a lightning rod in some way, it's a rod.
If we can if we can rig something up, okay, so if we can create something that is, if we can make like a ring that orbits over the planet and is well outside of the kilometer range, well outside of a kilometer of the top of the tree, um, but is large enough that
Sort of
it's,
gate in the stars, like a
well,
stargate.
if we can position it just right, and kind of use, if the stuff doesn't have to be physically touching the wormhole generator, if we can set it up so that the densite doesn't have to be physically touching the wormhole generator, that transmits and then signals out, then we can propose something where you have a ring that then transmits into the tree, and then the tree serves as the focus to fire out through the direct the signal out through the center of the ring.
that's Star
And
Trek enough
therefore,
that I can entertain it as a possibility.
I'm already
I
having
can't shut
ideas.
that down.
I have some ideas.
Okay.
so if you can come up with an idea on how to make that work and have it communicate with a living tree, without damaging the tree, then I think we might have something to pitch the Archons.
I'm
But like,
almost certain
you're
that
gonna
I need.
have a design.
I'm almost 100% certain that we're gonna at least need to touch the tree. The reason for that is because we need to have a plot for Tripper to accept. Uh, but other than that, I'm pretty sure we have enough ideas to work with. But like if we need to touch the tree at least. But I have like one, two, three,
I don't
four.
think we can touch the tree.
Not well. Okay, so here's option 6. Um, yeah. Well, I have 5
Six.
other plans.
Oh
So
God. Six
option
plants.
6 is we call, I
Plan
forget what his
plan
name,
F, you might call it.
yeah, we'll start with F and we'll work up to A, and then I have Z, but we're not going to talk about that.
We never talk about Plan Z until.
No,
You just burn the
but
tree
it
and take
is
the
lemon
densite.
scented, just so you know. Anyways, the doctor that was kind of willing to deal with fish and more scrupulous endeavors,
You mean
uh,
Detrone?
Detrone. I was hoping I could contact him after being informed.
Sure.
Because he's a scientist in some degree. I forget. Does
Oh
he is
yes, he
he's
is
from
very
that
much a
particular region.
scientist.
Yeah.
He's from a different region, I think, but
Yes, he
Okay.
is from Shinzia, a very different region.
Okay. I call him up. Doo doo doo. Wait. Oh wait. No. I know what the ringtone is.
Okay,
It's
we've
just
got our
going around,
obligatory non-copyrighted Christmas music. Nice.
messing with all his little chickens.
All right, it's gonna go. Ah, my dear doctor, it's been too long. How are we today?
Doing good. How would you like to commit sacrilege against your own kind to save
He's going to say, "You had me at sacrilege."
Yeah. It's a guitar strums. So I'm basically just gonna tell him that if he could send as much data on the tree as he has, because I imagine that if he's been doing sketchy stuff, he has to have analyzed one of the most, interesting, important things to some degree, and we can use that as a bit of a groundwork.
I think it's gonna work better if you just ask him to come and work with you on the project.
Oh yeah, no,
with
I'm gonna ask that
data.
too, but I want him to bring all of his data with him.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah,
transfer the data, we work on it, and then when he gets here, we work on it more.
Well, he's going to say, I'm ashamed of myself for not having put that together, that Ursulum would be the same as Denzite. It makes a lot of sense now. But yes, the great tree. I mean, what you've told me, what Kaino told you is about what I know as far as it being the most sacred site in all of Sumera. Sacrilege for it is a capital offense, etc., etc.
Also, if you could bring any tunnel or cave plans, see if because I am also curious if there is like an underground sort of system of caves. Because you said nothing's allowed within 1,000 miles on the surface, but no one said anything about
No.
underneath.
A
A
kilometer.
kilometer.
Kilometer
One
underneath. Yeah,
he's going to say,
we could totally dig a tunnel.
"Oh, that's skirting with the death penalty, I see." Unfortunately, any notes that I would have on the tree are going to be back home on Shinzia in whatever, well, or they might be. You remember the state you saw in my lab when you
question.
found me. They
Quick
very well
question.
may be destroyed. I'm not sure.
Question. These are all notes that you've looked over personally, right?
Yes.
So
Oh,
you would
God.
have them in your memory,
Oh,
I guess you
God.
could say.
Oh, my dear doctor, if you think you're putting me in that infernal machine, you have another thing coming. I've heard the horror stories.
Fine. You have
I've-
an assistant.
And what does that have to
You
do
have
with
an
anything?
assistant. You want to
Do you
bring
have
him
someone
to-
else that you had like go over those notes?
No, I have not.
Well, how much are you willing to sacrifice for your own kind?
Considering this doesn't feel like last resort territory, not that much.
Okay, we'll just put the brain wrencher on the back burner for now. I'll warm it up.
That's
for you.
plan Y.
That's plan. Yeah, that's plan Y. Yeah, why would we do it? Because it's fun. That's why.
It's not plan
To be
B.
fair,
It's
you
getting
like.
dangerously
To
close.
be fair, Ripper, you're like, oh yeah, I don't have any notes, but it's like, but you do have it in your memory, so.
Of course you're gonna go there.
The brain wrencher is just such a good invention.
It's something.
It's just my magnum. It's my magnum opus. Well, second magnum opus.
It's a
Mr.
thing.
Crisil is my number one.
It is
My gosh, this MacGuffin is such a MacGuffin.
It is one of the MacGuffins of all time.
Who knew that perfectly copying somebody's memory against their will had so many benefits to like information gathering?
Yeah, who would have thought being able to intrusively go into someone's brain and wrench out information would have some use? Go figure.
Yeah, the actual lethality is quite low. We just don't test it enough. We don't use it enough to like show the low danger of it, except on corpses, which is the only kind of sketchy area. Anyways,
Only sketchy area, right?
I mean ethics, schmethics. The guy I was just talking to was like, "You had me at sacrilege." I mean, I'm pretty sure we passed the point of being like, "Yeah, we're definitely just pure holier than thou people."
Well, there's
No, I
difference
don't think
between
it's how it is.
ethics and risking exploding someone's head. So
Well, hey, the needs of the few outweigh nobody because we're doing the needs of the many in this case.
good catch.
All right,
Oh.
so do you want me to go down some of my plans?
Yes, you can.
I'll start with the stupidest one first.
So F.
Yes. Actually, technically, F was the ring siphoner because I just kind of had that was the last idea that I had. But so this is
E.
yeah E. Everyone forgets E. Okay. So Plan E, which is kind of more of not a plan as much as it's just kind of interconnected. Um, I want to build. Remember how I told you about those worms that eat people to like duplicate themselves, 3D print themselves in order to make more worms that then spread out and eat people and blow up? I
No, I
want to
don't
make
recall
like
this.
okay, well I want to make a simpler version of that. I'm basically making tunneling worms, which is like I want to make like basically what it is it's a worm that eats dirt and other materials, and it's like but it's like cybernetically enhanced and also has a 3D printing system or like a sort of a very miniaturized version of the replicator tech in
Uh-huh.
order to where it, instead of replicating other things, it replicates its own self. It basically clones itself or replicates it, and that so basically as it eats more dirt and rock and stone, and all that matter in its body will be converted into a duplicate, and they'll propagate exponentially. And you can set them on a command. And I want to like have the worms eat a tunnel underneath the base of the tree where the resource is
To what end?
to reach the underneath the tree so we can get to the denzite.
So this is just a really inefficient way of drilling to the tree.
It's a really
Without having.
cool way of drilling the tree. And well, here's the thing. Well, the reason I want this is because uh, if you just had a big old drill do it, it's gonna be a big old drill that's probably gonna take longer. However, if you
Well,
have an army of propagating superworms that can work and shape based off of like a super specific plan, we can get like really. I basically what I'm trying to do is that I'm inventing a super drill to do this using the only things I know how to make.
well, I mean, I assumed that if we were gonna just remove it, we were gonna teleport it out.
Uh, well, the thing. Okay, so hear me out. I thought we weren't trying to kill the tree.
Well, yeah, I mean that's. I'm just talking about
So
like if.
this is kind of to make the tunnel underneath because if we can get underneath it, we can do like 95% of the stuff that we want to do without anybody knowing. So like if we build the ring siphoner and we still got to touch the tree, we can place the like, what I'm thinking of how it would work is in kind of the tune with the lightning rod, how like how it works with lightning, where a lightning bolt actually, like the electrons, aren't just coming from like the sky; they're also coming from the Earth, and they're
Yeah.
pulling upwards and connecting in the middle. I'm
Right.
thinking we basically do is we make the ring, which is able to siphon it, like in the atmosphere, it can siphon the energy. But basically, and then we install like a device underneath the tree for it to basically create a straight beam up into the sky and like basically shoot the energy by creating a sort of like manufactured, energy conductor.
Okay. All right. Well, that's plan uh E. What's plan D?
Well, that plan F, and then the wormhole, the making the tunnel thing was plan E,
Yeah.
which also could be utilized as well. We don't need to go into what else it can be used for, which may or may not be plan Z.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus.
say another one. Okay, I just wrote down safe removal method. Well, another one is basically building a device that can we take the original ore out, uh, and then we replace it with a device that can effectively uh, provide like the same ambient energy to sustain the tree without it being specifically what denzite produces, like
Right.
an alternative energy source compared to the energy source of denzite. So something similar, but like fundamentally like functions on a different frequency, like the difference between like you know gasoline versus like
Kerosene.
like kerosene. Yeah.
Now, the one limitation with a lot of this is that you don't actually know specifically how the ore interacts with the tree because you haven't studied it directly. You're just having to speculate at this point.
Hence the information that I would want to get from Detrone, because
Right.
he would have some information, whether in his own head currently or on the notes. And I'm just saying, even if he doesn't get brain wrench, he probably would still have a good enough memory to understand the fundamentals. You know, like a
Okay.
good starting point. We don't need to go from complete scratch.
All right, so that's plan D. What's plan C?
Resonator device. Basically, what it is, we build effectively the wormhole device, or a sort of version of it, within a certain distance of the tree, which we can use to basically treat the tree itself as a battery. In order to do basically like to make the wormhole like Sorab and Tim were suggesting about basically attaching or putting a device near the tree and using the tree as a device, like a battery, to actually make it instead of the ring siphoner.
Well, the tree wouldn't be the battery. The densite is not the source of the power. The densite is the conduit
Yeah.
for the power.
Yeah, but
as an antenna, more.
But basically, what we could do is we could just siphon that sort of energy through the tree itself as a sort of medium, and then putting that device. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like an adapter.
Okay.
And so we can reach it through the tree, so we wouldn't have to dig up the tree or the densite.
You've got all these written down, right?
I have them very simplified, like resonator device, safe removal method, ring siphoner.
Make better notes, because we're gonna have to come back to these. We're definitely not gonna finish all this tonight. So make sure you have it well enough to repeat later.
Free medium resonator wormhole device.
All right. On that note, plan B.
Actually, it's plan A. It's the last one I have. I mean, I could come up with more, but
I thought
the
you
last
said you had
one
6.
Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Give or take.
Okay.
You know, I can come up with more. These were just the first off the cuff ones. The last one is actually just kind of something like, we don't have a lot of densite. Like, I mean, like we're effectively out of densite, correct?
Yes.
But we
How
have
much
like
densite do they actually need?
They have like residual amounts, right?
Well, they need quite a bit. Cause I remember the exact number. I think it's like they need like 15-meter long rods of stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is my question. Why don't they just do better? And that's why I came up with this.
Sounds like a skill issue, bruh.
Yeah, it does. You see, that's why I came up with this last one. It's just it's simply called the amplifier. So what if? Because the thing is, what we're doing is we're saying, oh, we need blah 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 amount of densite to make the wormhole work. Well, what if we just use whatever residual stuff they do have and just simply improve the machine by making an amplifier to maximize the effectiveness with less. You know what I mean?
I think it's part of what Calvo was working on with them, wasn't it?
Yeah. So as far as plot goes, that as far as like gameplay goes, those rolls were made as far as other ways to do it, and that was a dead end, unfortunately.
Did they try meat? God. I'm just saying.
You're not going to use 15-meter long salamis to power the machine.
I'm not. No. What I'm saying is, we put the densite in the meat.
How dare you suggest that Fizz would use cured meats?
Yeah. I prefer.
You're not using
15-meter standards, sir.
You're not using 15-meter long hot dogs.
Okay, I'm not. Okay, no. Well, this is okay. Hear me out. No, and this is just okay. I know this sounds like a Lovecraftian horror, but when the fate of a planet is on the line, I am willing to create these things. Okay, so here, just listen to me, and just listen to me.
At 10:58, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. And I mean this in all seriousness. Like, I genuinely think this could work. What we do is we take residual DNA from the tree. We crossbreed it with a species of creature, primarily slug is what I'm thinking. I mean, it's a spitball thing. And we make it so it's able to eat, digest, resonate, and amplify the basic like garbage and like residual trash of like decayed denzite in order to basically like fuel itself and create the same resonation wave. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a creature that can recycle the old material, and then if we use the actual slug as the new battery for the actual like wormhole machine. We just plug it in.
I can already tell you the R&D time on that's going to be a lot longer than the time you have.
What if I
What
try
is this?
really, really hard?
I'm
just saying, we know this is canon.
What if you just did better? What if you just do better?
To be fair, Soong has built entire like psionic scanning devices in 6 seconds. I think he can do this in a couple weeks.
Well, we're talking
if
about
it's a crunch
growing
time.
slugs. The difference is you got to cultivate.
Oh no.
them.
What you see is I'm not creating the slug per se. Like I'm not culturing and raising it. I'm cloning its pre-designed flesh in mass.
What the hell?
It's basically
What the
I'm
hell?
basically okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's like I'm not going for like an actual sentient creature. What I'm going for is and it's very. I'm being 100% like I would be fully willing to do this, and I think I can see it working. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make an organic battery that can repurpose the basically residue and residual scrap of used denzite, because we've decided that we can do it with other stuff. But if we create basically a biological system that can process and filter it, that's like, and then we plug that meat thing, that meat slug, into the wormhole device, it would work.
Okay, I can see where you're going with
I
this.
mean,
See, he drank the Kool-Aid. Come on, taste it. Just a little sip. Little drink.
The episodes that are just me and Fish get the weirdest, I think.
They really do. Because Matt is the voice of reason? What the hell? When did this happen?
Reason's overrated. This is Star Trek.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to percolate on that one and hope it never happens.
The problem is he can talk crazy and I can do techno babble. And when we get together on a thing, man,
you enable him. Damn it, Tim.
Okay, so I'm just gonna write down meat slug battery.
And I hope that the next time we come back to that, you'll have totally forgotten what that meant.
Well, here's the powered. Thank you, powered by denzite. Thank you for making me keep better notes. This way, I appreciate you, Tripper.
You're welcome.
Meat slug battery powered.
Well, my headache was gone.
Mine is.
Now it's thinking about what am I gonna do with this?
Man, I can't wait to come up with Plan Z. I wonder what that crazy thing will be.
Listen, we never say Plan Z out loud.
I know, that's why this isn't Plan. We haven't reached it yet, but I do have 6 plans now.
Nice.
And to be fair, the meat slug battery powered by denzite will be the one we save for last. So it makes more sense if it does work that we've done everything else.
So, how many PowerPoints are we getting for this?
I want to give him 0 for the headache I have, but you both get 1. And I already uploaded, if you saw Tim, on Discord, the PDF of how you're supposed to do the thing. So you can.
Oh yeah, I upgraded my character like an hour ago.
That's fine.
I don't understand why no one likes my meat slugs.
I am not going to go there. I'm not. I don't like that.
That's getting quoted. That's going on the Discord right now.
I don't know. Please, Tim, please do it. We need this in our lives.
Like, I was thinking about it, like, you know what? If we really think, it doesn't sound very good.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No one. Keep your meat slug to yourself, man.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be a lot of them if we're going to make it work.
Oh, God. Oh, Tim, hey, let's greatest.
I'm
let's,
not trying. Sorry for flagging the stream.
Yeah, let's go straight from talking about meat slugs to Children's Miracle Network.
Listen, my head isn't in a great place, so this is gonna be a very abbreviated pitch. We play these games to raise money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and if you go to our team page that is linked in chat, there is the opportunity to donate. We are raising money through the end of the year, and then we'll be starting a new fundraiser next year. Help us help kids. Everything that you donate goes to the hospital. It doesn't go to overhead. It doesn't come to us. It does go to help kids in the hospital with their care, with device, machinery that's used for their care and for entertainment, so that they can be kids during a very scary time of their lives. So please check that out and help us help kids by making a donation.
That works for me. All right. We hopefully have a session next week. We'll know more when we get closer. Hopefully it'll be more than just the three of us, and hopefully Matt will be here to be the voice of reason. What world do we live in? But anywho, it's been fun. Good night,
Yes.
gentlemen. See
Go
y'all.
long and prosper.